No! I'm not doing that! What up, y'all? It's the Black Critic Guy, and I return again to another anime review. It's been a while since I've done one of these. I apologize for the lack of anime reviews, but I am back with the new anime review on an anime called Nazo no Kanojo X, or The Mysterious Girlfriend X. And I gotta say, this anime is very strange, but I enjoyed it. But it's very strange. So the plot of Mysterious Girlfriend X is a very simple story about this boy by the name of Akira Tsubaki, who is a very strange high school boy, and I'll get into why he's strange later on. You know, he's a very horny, he always thinks about the girls, and guess what? One day, a transfer student comes into his class by the name of Mikako Urabi. So at first, Tsubaki didn't really think much about this girl who broke out into laughter for no reason in class. So everyone kind of just left her alone, ignored her because she's kind of weird, including him. But one day, and this is where it gets kind of weird, one day, I believe he forgot his lunch, so he went upstairs to go get it, and he finds Urabi still sleeping there because during breaks or during lunch, she just falls asleep on her desk. And, you know, she's just laying there, and he's like, okay, I gotta wake her up. Hey, wake up. And as he's waking her up, drool is pouring out of her mouth, and she looks up, and for the first time, he sees her eyes, and he's like, wow, this girl's really pretty. And then she's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna leave. And when she leaves, there's a puddle of drool on the desk, and what does he do? He takes his finger, rubs it on the drool, and yeah, he puts it in his mouth. And guess what? He gets sick by it, and everyone's like wondering where he's been. It's been like 2 weeks. And so Urabi goes to visit him and is like, you're not sick, you're just going through withdrawal because you haven't had my drool in like 2 weeks. And so she puts her finger in her mouth, takes out like a spittle of drool, and puts it in his mouth. And they build a bond from this connection, this saliva bond. And he asked her to be his girlfriend, and this is where the story begins. Now, I wasn't recommended to watch this anime by anybody. I actually saw a picture while I was on Facebook. This picture right here. And you know me, I'm a sap for romantic comedies, and I love romance stories, no matter how weird they get, and this anime really pushes that kind of weird boundary, and I'll get into that soon. Now let's get down to the strongest reason why I really enjoyed this anime, and that's actually the bond and connection between Tsubaki and Urabi. It is really strong and convincing and very relatable. I mean, I really related to the character of Tsubaki to a degree. Now keep in mind, I'm going to explain why he's relatable and why he's not relatable later on. And not only that, but I also like Urabi as a character as well. I mean, she goes against the archetype female love interest type of character that's shown prevalently in animes such as these. I mean, she really stands out from all the others. She's not super shy, she's not super quiet and the cutesy girl next door. She is weird, she has a very distinct voice. In fact, that's the one thing that kind of pulled me towards her, because normally girls like her will have the high-pitched, really high-pitched voice, but she has a very low voice, not like super low where it's like this, but a low enough voice to really make it sound sensual. And I think that really worked for the character as well. And this whole anime is basically watching these two grow as a couple and blossom into a full-fledged relationship, and you're really rooting for their relationship to grow stronger and stronger with each step and in each move. And if an anime of this caliber can do that for you, then it's done its job, and it's done its job very well. Not only that, but you have a good supporting cast of characters. Like, you got Okra, who kinda has more of an affection than a friendship towards Urabi, but she makes for some of the more entertaining scenes in the anime, and I like her connection with Urabi. It's kind of funny and cute at the same time. You got Koei, who's Tsubaki's best friend and helps him out in situations, and he's also dating Okra, and I'll get into their relationship later on in this review. And I really liked him as a character, he was entertaining. You also got Tsubaki's middle school crush in this anime, who is actually the most well-developed secondary character. You really understand where she's coming from because she's going through unrequited love, and who hasn't been there? Who hasn't experienced unrequited love? And in that, you really relate to her character. And lastly, we got Yoko, Tsubaki's sister, who we see a lot in the anime, but we only see like glimpses of her in a few episodes. It's not until the last episode that we get a really full development of her character. We get to understand and know this character a little more, and I can't say that the anime denied me that development, so props to them, and I thought they handled it very well. Like I mentioned earlier, this anime has a lot of relatable moments like overthinking situations, daydreaming, or dream sequences. In fact, Tsubaki's dream sequences were very relatable in my book because I can't tell you how many times I went to bed and had a dream about a girl that I had a crush on. I mean, I'm sure a lot of us have done that before. Unrequited love is really shown prevalently in this anime as well. And lastly, there are a lot of humorous moments in this anime, especially when Tsubaki tries to hug Urabi, and Urabi does this whole like quick attack thing, lifts her skirt, and you see these pair of scissors attached to her panties. She takes it off and just attacks Tsubaki, and I found that very strange and weird, but humorous. And now we get to the things I didn't like about this anime. And the first thing that really stands out, the one thing that just irritated me the most, was the use of drool and saliva. It is just disgusting! And I know it plays a crucial part in this anime. Hell, if it wasn't for that saliva, if it wasn't for that drool, Tsubaki and Urabi would never be a couple. They would never have met, they would have never talked. The drool plays a key element in this anime. But I found it disgusting. People taking the drool out of their mouth and putting it into somebody else's mouth, it's just gross. The animation felt like it was very reminiscent of animes in the early 90s. I mean, it had that type of animation style, and I don't know whether or not it was trying to pay homage to 90s anime, or maybe it took place in the 90s, because if you look back at the anime, I mean, they're not on computers, they're not on their cell phones. In fact, in one scene, some character calls another character using a payphone, so it kind of gave the vibe like this anime took place in either the 80s or the 90s, and the animation also looked like it was made in the early 90s. Kind of bothered me, but Now let's talk about our two main characters of Tsubaki and Urabe. Now I really enjoyed their characters, don't get me wrong, but there are some factors to their characters that I really did not relate to and I really didn't like. First, let's start with Tsubaki. This guy is extremely weird and creepy. Right off the bat in the first episode, he touches this random girl's drool that he never talked to. He doesn't even really know her. He just looks at the drool and like, wow, I wonder how it tastes like. Like I said, I hated that whole aspect of the anime, the whole saliva and drool thing. It disgusted me, but that is not even the peak of his weirdness. I mean, he starts like rubbing on a girl's bed, smelling her hair. Yes, in some aspects he's really relatable, but mostly this character is weird. And now let's talk about Urabe. Now, Urabe really comes off as a very distant girl, so she doesn't really emote very well or show emotions that much. And like I said, whenever we see her emotions, it's mostly secondhand off of Tsubaki with her putting the drool in his mouth and we see how she really feels. But that kind of irritated me, and I know that must have irritated Tsubaki and thus making him more relatable because we're following this relationship as well. It's almost like we are Tsubaki and we're irritated by this girl who just won't express her emotions or really speak her mind or actually just push the relationship forward. And the last thing I want to mention is the lack of development between Oka and Koe as a couple. Now we get a few glimpses of it here and there in the anime, but not a full-on development of the relationship, which I really would have loved to see. In fact, most of the time it just seems like Oka's on Urabe's tits all the time. She's trying to get closer to Urabe than her boyfriend Koe. And I know they're trying to keep their relationship a secret, but you can at least, you know, acknowledge his presence. There are scenes in the anime where she literally passes her boyfriend, doesn't even acknowledge him being there or not even look at him. And I felt like, so, do you even like him, or are you pretending to like him? Like, what's going on here? So overall, Mysterious Girlfriend X is a mixed bag for me, you know. There's a lot of things I really like about it. There's a lot of things I really don't like about it. But overall, it's a really enjoyable anime, and I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's not great, but it's a rather enjoyable anime. If you're really a fan of romantic comedies or romance animes where you see characters develop their relationships, I really recommend you give it a watch. It's just more of the same that you really like to see. But anyway, what did you guys think of this anime? Did you like it a lot? Did you hate it? And let me know, what is the most disgusting thing you've ever seen in an anime? And hentai, doujin, yaoi, and yuri does not count. It has to be a full-fledged anime. Comment below, let me know. Also stay tuned December 14th where we're going to kick off the 12 days of anime, which I'm also going to be a part of. Make sure you go check out the other people's videos as well. But till then, I'm the Black Critic Guy, bridging the gap between movies and anime reviews. Till then, peace, YouTube.